I did a video about how to organize your office and how to not get bogged down with paperwork. And what I didn't address was what happens if you already are bogged down with paperwork. I can tell you when I clean out people's houses, do you remember when they used to return your checks to you from the bank? I have cleaned out houses where I've had like checks from the 1960s that I've had to dispose of. I had one estate I did one time down in the basement. They had this almost like a card catalog cabinet that had these little skinny drawers, long drawers. They had every single receipt for everything they had ever purchased. And each month, it was like they had a list of what they spent that month. They were meticulous in keeping track of the money they spent. It was a lot to go through and to throw out. So what happens if you have a lot of paperwork to go through? When I'm working with a client downsizing and they have a lot of paperwork, I give it to them as homework. So I recommend that you put it wherever you watch TV so that you can work on it during the commercials. So just take a chunk of it at a time. Don't try and do all of it all at one time, but take a big chunk of it and just sit and put a trash can next to you and then have a box there. So you want to sort it into piles. Just go through each piece. Okay, this is trash. This is something I need to shred, goes in one box, and this is something I need to save and file, goes in another box. And just sit there and go through it during the commercials. Just do that until you're through all of it. So that's the easiest way to attack that. It can be overwhelming when there's a lot of paperwork, but think about, first of all, whether you really need it. If it is something you need and you don't have room to store it, you can always scan it into your computer, but do it in little chunks and work your way through it. But don't hold on to stuff you don't need. Like those prospectus from your financial guy. When I cleaned out my mother-in-law's place, she had all of those. She didn't need those. She didn't even read them. Things like magazines and catalogs. Old bills. You know, once you've paid a bill, you may want to keep it until you get your next statement to make sure that they've received your payment. But after that, you don't necessarily need it unless you need it for tax purposes. Just really think about what you have and do you really need to keep it? When was the last time you looked at it? So I hope that helps you kind of get through all the paperwork that maybe you're sitting on right now.